Hey everyone out there, I am John David West. Welcome to Theater for the New City's live online production of Café Resistance, written by Roberto Monticello, directed by Lissa Moira, and assistant directed by Alan Hanna. Thank you for being here. We are closed, of course, as all theaters are, but we are keeping theater alive, and I'm so grateful to Lissa and Alan and Roberto Monticello for sharing their work with us this evening. So thank you guys for being here. Those of you out there watching in the world out there in online theater land. So thank you for being here, and I hope you are safe and your loved ones are safe and well. I just wanted to let you know about a couple shows that are coming up. We're not going to be on next Thursday, but on Monday, the 20th of July, we have a production by Charles Bush, a new play that he's worked on called Visitors in the Dark, and it's directed by Carl Andrus. And I'm super excited about that. So check us out on July 20th, Monday at 7 p.m. And then, of course, it's summer, and that means it's time for Theater for the New City's annual street theater. And Crystal Field is busy right now working on pulling that together and writing it. And also the music is composed by Joseph Vernon Banks. So she's working on that. And it will open on August the 1st and run through September the 13th. Hopefully in city parks. I don't know. So keep coming back here to theaterforthenewcity.net and check us out. If it won't be in the parks, it will definitely be here online. And I don't know if I said the title. Did I say the title? It's Liberty or Just a City Park Story. So it's going to be crazy and fun and outrageous and everything we love about street theater. So, and then finally, I wanted to thank everybody who has been donating, and it's really super helpful. So thank you for your donations. I know it's hard for everybody. So whatever you can do, whatever you can give to your small theaters is very graciously appreciated and needed. And so thank you for doing that. Feel free to donate at Theater for the New City's website. You just go to theaterforthenewcity.net and then you'll see a donation page. So thank you again for that. It's really helpful. Okay, so guys, tonight, Café Resistance. It is written by Roberto Monticello, and he is amazing. He's a Cuban-born filmmaker, playwright, and humanitarian. He's been everywhere. He's been to famine-ravaged Ethiopia. He's reported abuses in Afghanistan. He's been to Guatemala investigating the killing of Native peoples there. He's very concerned right now with anti-Semitism, especially in Europe, where he says the pro-Nazi movement is on the rise. And so to that end, he wrote Café Resistance, which we're doing tonight, and it's based on true stories that Roberto heard from friends in Paris. Stories about Jewish people surviving the Nazi occupation during World War II, the role that cabarets played in hiding resistance fighters. It's an amazing story. So that's what we have tonight. And unfortunately, he won't be here to watch because this is crazy. He's a certified paramedic. And so he is working with transporting COVID patients and other patients to city hospitals. So we're sending him good vibes and well wishes out there. So you guys, here we go. Let's go to Paris for Café Resistance.
Paris, August 1939. The streets bustle with an unusual fervor. Haggard, frightened faces hang on the crowds. Women drag their children from their time at play indoors. Lines surround the newsstands as papers disappear.
Today, Mr. Joseph Stalin signed a pact with Mr. Hitler. You understand that I don't give a hoot about that. Such things in the very middle of August, with the heat just killing us in Paris. So, 1 pack more or less. What the hell does that matter to a woman like me? A woman who makes a living by selling her charms. Life is hard enough as it is, especially for a woman on her own, without racking one's brains about all the trifles that set nations against each other like fighting roosters. I'm encouraged to take up writing as one of my patrons, a steady customer of the Blue Parrot, Monsieur Raoul Aragoin. He's encouraging me. He comes every Friday night to admire Stuffed Pigeon. She's the little, slightly plump blonde, a singer in our place for years. Monsieur Aragoin is an ex-political editor. He can be somewhat petty, and he always studies his check very carefully. Nevertheless, he's all right.
The Blue Parrot, day. Louise and Raoul listen to a talk show playing on the large radio in the corner.
Louisa, these are fateful times.
Well, don't I know it? We can all feel it in the air. Mama took me to America when I was just 5. 20 years I spent with her there. But when she died, I came home. Home to Paris. I always longed for it. Sentimental idiot, aren't I?
No, you're just French.
Today, Germany and Russia pledged eternal friendship to each other. It's fishy. All of a sudden, the leaders of these two nations are shaking hands. It looks bad and means a stab in the back of democracy. I'll bet you we'll have war before the end of the year. Meanwhile, prices are risen.
Merde! If I were you, Louisa, I would start writing my memoirs this very day.
Me, a diary, quite a joke.
See? You have a certain kind of natural talent. You meet quite a number of people in your profession. In case of war, you would have some unusual experiences to talk about. Because when people kill each other, love blossoms like petunias in manure.
Monsieur Raoul, I do not know how to write. My spelling is not very good, and when I send little notes to my lovers, it certainly is not for posterity.
In order to acquire some skill, you should start describing your environment. That is, the surroundings, the atmosphere. And then introduce yourself as if undressing in front of a mirror. After that, let events take their natural course. Every time something of interest happens, just put it on paper. Just imagine if a courtesan from a cabaret on the Appian Way in the time of Brutus and Caesar had left her memoirs in Latin. Why? Such a human document would have been of incalculable value to the historian.
Raoul is right. Once you start writing about yourself, it's like a billiard ball on a sloping roof. You can't stop. You feel kind of thrilled undressing with a pen. You get drunk on your confessions. You start splitting hairs. He mentioned environment.
Dressing room that night.
Bonne nuit, Louisa.
First, well, the environment I've lived in for years is neither the temple of virtue nor the sanctuary of lyrical art. The Blue Parrot is a small cabaret at Montmartre, 133 Rue La Pique. Of course, it does not compare with fashionable places. The Blue Parrot, to tell the truth, does not enjoy that best of reputations. It belongs to Madame Marguerite Amélie Rose Cresson and her husband, Nesta Cresson, who's quite a character. Both could be exhibited at a museum. Madame Marguerite had the brilliant idea of attracting customers by means of private rooms. Number 1, Chinese style with instruments of torture reminding one of the Garden of Suffering. Number 2, painted entirely in black. A red guillotine stands in front of the patron's couch. The platform is used as a table. The blade is made out of wood, covered in foil, and the sawdust basket, meant to receive the criminal's head. This contains supper for 2. Number 3, Roman style, with murals reproduced from the secret museum Pompeii. And number 4, Hindu style, with a Taj Mahal all in pink light, a wry-faced Shiva, and pasteboard elephant heads with their trunks in perpetual motion.
The girls line up behind the curtain. The lights fade, music starts, and they start to make their entrances into the bright lights. We follow Louise through the performance. The men gaze at her. The women are mesmerizing.
I've got a crush on you, sweetie pie, all the day and night time. Hear me sigh, the world will pardon my mush, 'cause I've got a crush, my baby, on you. Because it is just as in the theater. Behind the footlights, you see an elegant drawing room ablaze with impeccably dressed made-up characters. Behind the scenes, only dirt, dust, and disorder. Those same actors who have gorged themselves with high-sounding phrases become themselves again. Such is life, a permanent theater where bad actresses are fooled by simpletons. The sad privilege of a courtesan. Well, it's to live behind the scenes. It's not a Romeo who comes to see us all dressed up with embroidered costume, but rather the caricature of Romeo, a gentleman who eats garlic, who wears darned socks, who pretends to be poor because he doesn't want to overpay his mistress, even if he's married to an enormous dowry.
The girls blend into the crowd, followed by roars of applause from the cabaret. Back in the dressing room.
Listen, Louise, Madame Marguerite has just fired the cashier who was stealing all she could. I talked to her about you, about your chic, your pep, your courage, and your tact. Huh? It would be an ideal job for you. Would you like to talk to Madame Marguerite about it?
Of course.
Louise and Satin walk through the crowd toward the madam, who is swarmed by men. Later, in Louisa's bedroom, beside her are the receipts from the night's affairs and her scribbles of vague account.
There's only one thing I don't want anybody to doubt. It is my motherly love. They can call me a prostitute, a harlot, a sinner. I take it without wincing. But there is one thing I want to keep out of all that, and that's my baby. And although I sit here in the dark Friday night practicing the remains of my faith, I believe neither in God nor the devil. Men have killed my faith. I have only one religion left, my Jacques. My Jacques is in a suit and looks at me, the proud maman.
Another day at the Blue Parrot. It is Sunday, early afternoon. Georges, a regular at the cabaret, sits milking a glass of brandy at the bar. He is a bit drunk. Catherine plays the piano, composing a tune. This is it.
This is what?
Since yesterday, the air has been filled with rumors. The women have been ordering things to be delivered to the provinces. Parisians have been stocking up. One cannot love in peace anymore.
Anymore. Could one ever love in peace?
Yet. Bonjour, bonjour.
Definitely not with her.
What? Heredia, don't bother me. I'm not in the mood.
What news, fair concubine?
Pour me a drink.
Voilà.
Na zdrowie. To the war they just announced.
What?
Just as I said.
You heard me, Bradshaw boys. They have joined the insanity.
Later, in the office.
Louisa, we are at war. I must pack. Anything can happen. Tomorrow, German planes may be flying over Paris. So Monsieur Nestor, who is well versed in military matters, advises you to put into each private room a bucket full of sand and water behind the piano. Our entertainers have to be warned that air raid alarms should not be taken lightly. Poster over each couch, a sign worded as follows. In case of air raid, our customers are requested to interrupt their tete-a-tete and go down to the cellar with their respective partner. At the end of the air raid alarm, they will be permitted to go back with the same partner and continue their drinks without any additional charge. You comprehend the management?
Madam, I've never run a business. I really don't know if I should stay. I don't know how to do that.
Louisa, why are you worrying? Everything will be fine. You know I trust you. Louise, ma petite, you are the cabaret's only hope. I need you now. Do it for me, pour moi.
I just don't feel
Oh, merci, Louise. Give Marguerite a kiss, huh? You know I consider you family, huh? And now call in the ladies, huh?
Hurry up, Louisa! I don't see why Madame should stay forever in Paris. I want to drive her back to La Vazillon before nightfall.
Oh, Nestor, mon cher, you are ridiculous. The Boche will certainly not bomb Paris today.
One can never tell.
Later that day, the women are gathered around on the couches.
Mon dear girls, England has accepted the challenge. We will follow our dear allies into the path of honor. I am counting on you, on your faithfulness, huh? We must not forget that we have a social role to play in the national defense. La 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 la. Our glorious soldiers, they need our consolation. We will give it to them. to the end without raising our prices. Madame Louise, whose devotion sets a magnifique example for you, will guide you, will help you through these traumatic hours. Girls, be brave. Is there anybody among you who would rather leave us?
I am scared for my mother in Lille. Otherwise, I don't care.
I predict peace for Christmas.
Where could we go? There are difficult days ahead. We have a steady job. Why give up the bird in the hand for the one in the bush? No. Better stick to this cabaret to which one is used to than to take the risk of resigning, no?
Madame Marguerite, I believe that owing to the circumstances, the dangers of being bombed and unemployment, our basic salary should be raised 20%.
How much? How much? 20% raise? You are exaggerating, Irma. 20%, when we don't even know if we can cover our expenses. You should be happy we stayed open.
Don't make me laugh, Madame Marguerite. It's a certainty that with war, business will be booming. What else will people want to do anyway? I'll stay. If you give me a raise.
Irma, you are a saboteur and very ungrateful.
And you are an exploiter.
I forgive you.
Nonsense. I have the right to say whatever I please. We are not under any Nazis yet.
I refuse to raise your salary.
Well, then, I'm quitting. You bloodsucker.
Oh, do you hear her, Madame Louise? Okay, quit, you dirty antichrist.
I will leave you this very night.
No, you won't. You still owe me 450 francs. I advanced you. You have to pay me back first.
I haven't got them. You are exploiting us like a slave trader. You and your pimp Nestor.
Will you kindly leave Monsieur Nestor out of this discussion? Comprendre? I don't know what's keeping me from hitting you straight in the jaw. Nestor?
Marguerite, I just heard on the radio that it's 5 o'clock. France is at war with Germany. It's official. Anyway, we have to leave without any delay, darling. I foresee terrific bombardment within half an hour.
Lock the doors! Give me the keys, Louisa. The blue parrot is in your hands. I will call you tomorrow morning. Au revoir.
What am I to do?
Several weeks later, the blue daytime. Sirens sound. All the customers rush downstairs to the cellar. The officer on leave and his girlfriend, the civilian businessman with his wife, the soldier on active duty between two trains, the playboy facing the second version of the 1914 war with indifference. A painter like Goya would have immortalized this first air raid alarm in a famous painting. They sit against the walls, looking at each other in dismay.
Where is Louise?
Looking up.
Where is Hattockface?
She vanished with the Brits.
Only Hedda could make light of this night.
Satin-Skin sits next to a soldier. They exchange silent looks. She trembles slightly, and he gently touches her hand.
Why lock up anyway? Who cares? We could die tonight. And she wants to save this dump from robbers.
She really has no common sense. It's absurd that she's now running this place.
I brought some candles.
And where did you get those? Huh? I didn't know that we had candles.
We were worried about you.
So I heard.
Monsieur Casimir holding on to his violin.
Kasmichnya, darling. I didn't know you play violin.
She's my pet.
Casimir, then again, play something.
No, sorry. She only sings for me.
But what good is it if you can't play music for others?
We're going to die anyway. It doesn't matter. Give me more time.
Martha, really?
I'm getting a headache. We'll never get any sleep at this rate. Maybe a little Gershwin?
Gershwin on a violin.
Kasmichnya, play something. Drown out these horrible sirens.
Please, Casimir, take us somewhere else.
Here, let me show you how to play violin.
Later that night, in room 2, Haddock Face rides on top of a soldier. The lightning and thunder crashes outside, almost reminiscent to sounds of marching. She pulsates against the rhythm. A farm, daytime. Coco, Louisa's little boy, feeds a chicken with Madame Celestine. The boy rushes into Louisa's arms. She hugs him and kisses him.
Oh, my little Jaco. Oh my God, you've grown. Oh.
Louisa whirls around him, only to stop and see a line of soldiers marching down the road. Louise clutches her child to her.
Don't worry. I will be back soon with the Boy Scout outfit for you. I promise.
Back at the Blue Parrot bar,
Louise, can you imagine? I received a £5 bill from a British officer on mission. By God, I looked at the rate of exchange right away. This bill represents almost 1,000 francs. Do you realize that?
Show it to me.
Feel the bottom of my coat. Huh? There, to the left. There are my dollars, my dear. And my behind is decorated with the colors of the Bank of England and the Federal Bank. Huh? When I sit down, I etch my funds. Oh, by the way, Madame Marguerite is on the phone.
Damn it, Irma.
Louise runs to the office to talk on the phone.
Hello?
Madame Marguerite. Madame Marguerite across the couch.
Oh, Nestor.
Nestor is kissing.
Nestor, stop kissing my toes. You're driving me crazy and I have to be on the... So, Louisa, you deserted your post?
I was cleaning.
Nobody to keep an eye. No one to keep an eye on my cabaret.
If you're not satisfied with my services, I'm quitting here and now.
Oh, no, ma chère. Louisa, you take everything so seriously. How is my cabaret?
Well, you would know exactly how it is if you were here.
You know very well I would like to stay at my commanding post, but my poor dear husband, he prevents me from doing so. He is so nervous after he had been wounded in 1917.
Madam.
Anyway, you know, the Germans have marched into Belgium. Monsieur Nestor has telephoned our silent partners. They are aiming at our hearts.
What about our Maginot Line?
It is made of cardboard. They will pierce it like a cobweb. But we are talking about my cabaret, which is much more important.
If I understand it correctly, Madame, we cannot... count on you for a while.
Oh, you know very well, my dear, that if I were alone, I would have been ready to share the dangers with you. But it is for my poor Nestor. I cannot inflict this anxiety upon him. And above all, Louisa, watch out for spies. Monsieur Nestor denounced one just the other day to the police. Until further notice, call every day at noon.
Days later, the Blue Parrot. Satin Skin sits daydreaming out the window.
What could possibly be so exciting? You spend your days looking out at that dirty city.
What?
My God, she doesn't even hear me. It must be love.
Nonsense. Me, I am not in love. We cannot fall in love.
So you are not human?
You know what I mean, Casimir. Mind your own business.
Oh, Jesus. Watch where you're going.
Excusez-moi.
God, these coins are all scattered.
Don't tell me that's the cash from last night.
No, it's not our cash from last night. It's our cash from last week. Oh, God, what are we going to do?
Why don't I start by pouring you a drink? Eh?
Nothing to do but wait. But I don't know that I can wait. Where did that franc go? I had one more.
Ah, voila! You have to wait. Things will pick up.
Merci. Today, not a single customer. I believe this has never happened since the cabaret was opened.
Confusion must be great indeed if the night owls aren't even thinking of having fun anymore. Hmm?
The despair for these girls is heartbreaking.
Louise, who are you kidding? They're happy not to work.
Nonetheless, Paris and France is mourned by good-for-nothings like ourselves. I bet that there are important, decent men and women, people whose virtue has been acknowledged by the state, aristocrats, high society scamps, much less concerned at this hour than we, daughters of the common people.
Daughters? Wait.
Flick runs in, followed by Stuffed Pigeon, who is in her slip with rollers in her hair.
My stockings! Give me my stockings, you whore!
Oh, look who is talking.
I'll have to look after these children.
I need my hose! Louise, do something!
Stuffed Pigeon kids around the chairs after Flick. Flick tosses the hose to Casimir.
Oh, thank you, darling. Where did I leave them this time?
It's my only pair! Louise, grab it! Flick!
Oh, hey, is there a hole I see?
What? Oh, God, it's my only pair. It's my only pair. It's full of holes.
Oh, come on. Kids, they were just playing.
Flick and Casimir sit down next to her. Flick wraps the stocking around Pigeon's shoulders. Stuffed Pigeon just cries. While outside the Blue Parrot, German soldiers are marching. Suddenly, the front door swings open, and Mortadella makes her entrance.
I saw them. What a sight! The impression of stupendous might, like something irresistible. It is a machinery to crush the whole earth. Very polite, very gentlemanlike. You will see, their presence will not be terrifying at all. Maybe that's why Satin is flirting with them. Huh?
Satin is flirting with them? We will talk of something else.
Why does Madame leave anyway?
Oh, baby, we are at war. She has no balls.
Why did they go south for?
To save their silverware.
I am tired of this. No customer, no shop.
Nobody wants us, girls. Maybe our time is up.
Oh, maybe your time is up.
Ladies, please.
Really, Louisa, no one cares.
No one cares, is right.
Oh, I care.
Ladies!
Madame left and the cabaret went down the drain.
That bitch.
Listen to me. Listen! I am second in command since the captain bolted. I therefore propose that we decide what we're going to do. Let's consider this a staff meeting, okay? Now, Paris has been taken. The Bosch are here. So are we. We have to decide whether to continue the cabaret or resign. Due to the exceptional circumstances, you can be sure that I will not keep you against your wishes. Who wants to leave? Huh? Let's suppose that this is a co-op enterprise. Each of us will pitch in.
I want to leave because I don't want to be palmed off with the beautiful eyes of a procuress who is taking it easy on the Côte d'Azur while we are left at the mercy of the Bosch. Oh no, I'll be hanged if I will.
Where do you intend to go, Irma?
Elsewhere, I will work for freelance.
And get your face slashed.
Morta, and what about you?
I'm staying, of course. You don't imagine I will start walking the streets when everything is disorganized, when we don't know if the baker will have any bread left in a week. No fooling, I will stay. And how?
And you, Countess?
What? Oh, okay, I stay.
She is waiting like Alice in Wonderland for the pimp to bring her dope again.
Blake? Paige?
I'll stay.
Me too.
My pets, the cabaret continues by unanimous consent, with the exception of one voice, Satan, who is already hard at work, I take it. We have reserves to go 1 or 2 more weeks. If the funds should be exhausted without any money coming in, we shall put the key under the doormat and start on our own. Agreed?
That's exactly what I intend to do.
You don't have to shout, Irma. Nobody's holding you back.
I will shout because you're a bunch of dish rags. Your slave souls are ready to toil for dear old Marguerite. I feel sorry for you. You are softies. You are being squeezed and you are grateful for it.
Oh, shut up. Pack your things and shut your trap.
A bientôt.
Fine. Now that we're all together, let's give them what they paid for.
Later that night, Louisa's room. Louise sits on her bed, a lighted candle next to her. She finishes her prayer in Hebrew.
Unbelievable. We are living in tragic hours, the saddest in the whole history of our country. There are rumors of an armistice. If I was in my right mind, I'd leave, run for safety. But I stay, hanging on to the slim hope that since my family was not from Paris, maybe they won't find my papers. Maybe they won't trace back my heritage. And to leave my Jacques in this country alone would be to leave my soul. Although I suppose that I have already left him alone.
She kisses her Jewish star necklace and folds it in an envelope with Jacques' picture. She hides it in her drawer and disappears into the hallway. That evening, in the dressing room. The room is a mess, with dresses, makeup, and wigs strewn across the floor.
Here comes the prodigal child.
Classy, beautiful. Did you leave behind umbrella, gorgeous?
Would you like a glass of wine, deserter?
Well, are you going to walk out or not?
Well, girls, I was all decided to make a living somewhere else, since there are plenty of opportunities. Jojo, the owner of Chuchut Bar, made me tempting offer, and I have others.
Oh, yeah, and the director of the Opera Comique practically begged you on his knees to sing Madame Butterfly in the theater.
Oh, isn't that witty? I refused because I don't like change. Only two things in life have to be changed often: underwear for the sake of cleanliness, and men for the sake of dignity. I've been singing here for such a long time that I have gotten to like the place. Your faces, your intrigues. Considering the tragic moments we are going through, I prefer to stay among friends rather than make more money in another cabaret.
So you stay. There is some soup and mashed potatoes left for you in the kitchen.
This one is just like Hitler. She has delusions of grandeur.
Weeks later, cabaret, the Blue Parrot. The women have performed. For the first time, the audience is noticeably changing. German soldiers start to fill a few chairs among the civilians. Stuffed Pigeon finishes her song, and the men go crazy. Haddock Face sidles up to one of the soldiers, who is drunk. Louise watches from the back.
The decision to sign the armistice is the revenge of all the enemies of the Republic. They jumped at the beautiful opportunity to strangle the poor trollop. We have become the French state, already divided into two parts, correspondence prohibited between these two zones. You can already hear the handcuffs. Small countries like Poland, Norway, Holland, and Belgium continue to fight bravely. The new shepherds of France prefer to grovel before their victor. History will judge them.
A man slips into the bar and touches Louise's arm. He hands her an envelope. Louise takes a quick look and vanishes. The soldier starts to grope Haddock. She pulls the wallet out of his jacket and peruses his money. He laughs and pulls the money back. She grabs it back and puts it in her brassiere. Satin Skin looks longing at a German soldier from across the room. He misses her stare at first. She takes out a cigarette, sitting alone at the bar. A man pulls up a chair. Satin tries to ignore him. Suddenly, the man is tapped on the shoulder by a German. Satin's heart stops. She looks at him, he at her. The man leaves. Stuffed Pigeon sits next to Raoul, who has bought her a drink. Suddenly, a brawl starts over Stuffed Pigeon, who refuses to look at anyone. Hey, buddy, are you too good for us now?
Mind your own business, eh?
Hey, I came here for some action.
I have bought her a drink. Now go have fun with someone else.
The German soldier gets up and pushes Raoul out of his chair. Stuffed Pigeon jumps up to help. The soldier grabs her and starts to bring her up the stairs. Raoul swings a punch at him but misses. The other soldiers laugh. The French, they cannot even fight.
Get your hands off me, you bochel!
Flick, the Countess, Mortadella, and Casimir rush over to help. Meanwhile, in Louisa's room...
Oh, my Jacquot's letter, address unknown. What can it mean?
Luis, what are you doing? Everybody's looking for you.
Nothing.
What's this?
It's nothing, custom.
Oh, a letter to a lost lover, huh? Jacu, very sexy.
No, it was a letter to my lost son.
Luis, I didn't know. I came to get you. You are needed downstairs.
Minutes later, in the cabaret, Stuffed Pigeon is struggling from the other German officers, who hold her tight. Casimir fights with the soldier. The others surround the brawl. Louise
going on
runs
here?
to the center of the fight and tries to pull them apart, barely missing a few punches.
Stop it! Stop this nonsense!
Suddenly, the bar goes quiet. Louise turns around to see Grelon, inspector for the French police, and German officer Captain Carvog. The brawl stops.
Yes, please, Monsieur Goulin. What can I do for you?
Madame Louise, may I introduce Captain Carvog of the Gestapo? I know that Madame Marguerite is away and that you are managing the place during her absence. I therefore inform you that the Blue Parrot is requisitioned by the Occupation Authority.
What? By the Boche?
Look around you, madam. Choose your words carefully.
I don't care. And why requisition the house, please? To throw us out into the streets?
Not at all. You are requisitioned for the benefit of the Occupation Authority. Your cabaret will be exclusively reserved for the German army. And I may add, you will be reserved for officers only. Other houses will get only soldiers. You see how lucky you are?
What? What do you mean? Force the patronage of those people upon us? Never! I absolutely refuse. Anyhow, I have to wait for Madame Marguerite's instructions.
It is not up to Madame Marguerite to give orders anymore. It is up to the German general, the military governor of Paris.
I refuse in the name of my entertainers.
It is useless and dangerous. Useless, because you have to consider yourself mobilized on the spot. Dangerous, because if you rebel against the orders of the military governor, you will be arrested and sent to a concentration camp.
This is misuse of authority. Shanda, why don't you requisition the sewer rats of Paris for them, not us?
I'm warning you. Don't protest. I find your attitude towards the occupation authorities reprehensible. You are practicing obstruction. When the government is doing everything within its powers to improve relations between victors and vanquished. Armistice has been signed. Collaboration starts. This place will become, how shall I say, the exclusive club of these gentlemen. Understood? It's all arranged. Madame Louise is very happy.
The captain smiles, briefly looking at the women. And he, Grelon, followed by the other officers, leave. In the background, Satin and her German take hands. After a long look between them, he leaves. Next time, Fräulein, you cannot refuse me. Days later, outside the Blue Parrot, Grelon is posting a sign outside the club. The letters are bold and black. Nur für die Herren Offiara.
Madame Louise, I am attached to the Kommandantur and entrusted with the protection of these gentlemen. I don't have to tell you that if you accept civilians, this place will be closed right away and everyone arrested. I would be awfully sorry to send you to a concentration camp where you will be fed beets. Au revoir.
Passers-by stop on the sidewalk. Madame Fignaz, the concierge from next door, curious as usual.
Tell me, Madame Louise, is there any disease in your place?
No, Madame Fignaz, we are requisitioned like Renaud and Citron.
Ah, Are you ladies going to make ammunition?
No, eruptions.
Weeks later, inside the Blue Parrot, daytime. The place is upside down. The women play cards restlessly.
Ah, we are being sacrificed like sheep.
It looks like it is us who has to pay the cost of war.
And you see me walking good step to amuse the Prussian officers. I'd rather be behind bars.
Let's call Marguerite. She will help lend a hand.
No, I am going on strike here and now.
My word, listen to you. Who has the impression that having to do with these people is worse than going to the dentist? I've known many of them when I was in Zurich. They're just like the others. A Bosch without his tongue is like a wild beast without his claws. Really sentimental. You make me laugh.
You would be able to stand those dirty dogs?
A man's nationality doesn't matter. After all, we don't go to bed with a passport. For me, there is only one ideal man. If he's from France, Germany, Russia, or Patagonia, the one who smells good and pays well.
Change of heart, haddock.
Meanwhile, in the office, Louise sits staring at an old poster representing The Japanese Couch by Toulouse-Lautrec. It shows the profile of Jane Avril, one-time star of the Moulin Rouge.
When my Jaco is grown, he won't find anything to remind him of his mother's dubious profession. Where lies my duty? Would it be too cruel to soil the affection of my son, convinced of his mother's decency?
Satin Skin enters and puts her head in Louise's lap. Louise strokes her hair.
Dearest, are you okay?
Yes. Can you tell me something?
I can try.
I have this ache in my heart that won't go away. It's like a heavy weight that has dropped in my stomach.
Yes, I know this feeling well. You can't fill that space up. It's like a deep crater in your soul.
Yes, yes, you feel it too?
Every day, every hour.
What is it? What's wrong with us?
It's a very rare condition.
Am I sick? Or should I see a doctor?
No, dear. It's only something that you can heal.
No, that can't be.
Listen to your heart. You know what to do.
Merci, Louise.
Next day, the Blue Parrot. Louise counts the money, adding it up over and over. The women come in one by one to receive their pay.
Alas, life must go on. Rebellion doesn't feed anyone. They say that it is better to flirt with the Bosch than work in manumissions to kill our allies' soldiers with. Is there an answer to that? Except for Mortadella and Haddock Face, who are all smiles, niceties because it pays well. The others just perform their duty, nothing more. As for myself, I receive our customers automatically and wish them all to hell.
If the cops pester you again, I'll take care of it.
I can take care of things, sir.
Oh, Louise has the balls of the family, Raoul. I am sorry to say, but we love you anyway.
Attention!
Are you so afraid that your beloved Nazis might get hurt? Have you a search warrant?
You live in the past, Louise.
Madam Louise, and keep your distance.
I am sorry. Please, excuse me. Madame Louise. As I was saying, you forget that the laws of the Republic are in the waste paper basket. The French state is the custodian of your future.
So we're becoming second-class Nazis?
And I don't have to discuss with you the regime established by the Marshal's government. Follow the instructions. as I do, period.
Don't you people of the police have any opinion of your own?
The police force was established to serve whatever regime is in power.
Even to tyrannize compatriots to please our enemies?
The enemies of yesterday, because the armistice was signed long ago.
Not in the hearts of millions of French people, Monsieur Goulart.
So much the worse for them. They will suffer the penalty under the new law. I am Monsieur Gourlin from the police, and if that's not enough for you, I will at once... Who are you? You're not a German officer.
That I am not.
What are you doing here then?
I am a wine salesman.
Show me your papers. Your profession is designated as a newspaperman.
The newspaper business can lead to anything if only you get out of it. Some of us become pimps, crooks, ministers, millionaires. As for me, when I do not write, I sell wine. This is not prohibited, I presume.
I authorize you to stay here for business purposes, but not as a guest.
Inspector, I never drink the wines I sell. One should not mix business with pleasure.
See that you don't. Enough. Au revoir, Louise.
He hates irony like a cat hates water.
You see, that is the way to handle the police. They can never get the best of you if you treat them with politeness and humor. How is it that Goulin should walk in just when I am here?
For a good reason. He is attached to the Conmadatur to watch over the precious hides of the Boche. Now that he does not get the pay back from Madame Marguerite anymore, and that he knows that I am replacing the boss, I expect him to play the dirtiest trick on me.
You could avoid this by supplying him with the money as before.
I would never bribe this hypocrite. There are things I loathe more than anything. The Nazis, gigolos, and informers. Did they make my life miserable when I was working on my own?
That night in the office, Louise reads a letter from Madame Marguerite.
Cannot be believed.
Ma chère Louise, reading your letter, we thought we were dreaming. Those constantly rising returns. With this weekly increase of patronage, all hope is permitted. I foresee an era of prosperity, if, as we hope, the present situation should last a long time. Louise, please be nice to our guests and advise our taxi dancers to show the greatest kindness. Be the perfect cashier you always have been. After all, France has no enemies anymore. It is our patriotic duty to make the stay of our guests in Paris as elegant and pleasant as possible. If the Marshal and Hitler shake hands like loyal soldiers, you will see that Hitler will treat France like a prodigal daughter. In gratitude for your efficient collaboration, we will bring you a chicken.
Oh, très fou.
Later that night, the Blue Parrot. The cabaret is practically empty when a civilian comes in. Louise goes to expel him when she is struck by the man's attitude. He doesn't look like a reveler, but more like a hunted animal.
You don't recognize me, Louise?
No. Who are you?
It is because of my beard. Daniel, Milan. You do remember Dada, don't you?
Dada! Oh my God! A man who can be forgiven for being a male. Oh, nice, decent Dada. Of course I remember you. But where did you come from?
I would like to talk to you confidentially.
Well, the trouble is that the cabaret is reserved only for German officers, you know.
A few minutes only, Louise.
Same night, office.
Louise, I am a prisoner of war who escaped. Excuse me for coming like this in the middle of the night, but I was trying to avoid being seen.
What exactly do you want, Dada?
Shelter to escape the bloodhounds who have been on my heels for the last weeks. Listen, Louise, I am going to tell you. You know that I have no family in Paris, only a few acquaintances whom I cannot trust. Then I remember that you told me about this place. I realize this is a lot to ask, Louise, but I do not feel like licking the boots of our victors. Will you hide me with friends, no matter where, until I am able to disappear into the unoccupied zone?
Dada, our private rooms are safe until 7 o'clock at night. And from 7 to 4 in the morning, you could hide in the cellar. At least for now, until we find something better.
Would you take this risk for me?
There's only one danger. It is watched by the police day and night. Did anybody see you when you came in? It's Goulin. Quick, I'll hide you in private room number 1.
She opens the door and pushes him into the room. She has hardly closed the door when Goulin comes in. He stops in the middle of the cabaret and listens to the laughter in room number 2.
Not many people left as I see, Louise.
Regular customers, the Sturmführer of the Gestapo and one of his comrades.
Of course. Oh, Louise, I am drinking to your health in spite of the knowledge that you still can't stand me.
It is reciprocal, isn't it, Goulin?
Sit down, beautiful. For heaven's sake, smile. You are so pretty.
Is that what you think, Goulin? And you are so stoic. Such a chiseled, hard face. You never take time for pleasure, do you?
I wouldn't say never.
No? And who do you like most here, Goulin?
You already know that, Louise.
Do I?
And you, Louise, what is your pleasure? You are always running this place. Don't you have any time for a little tete-a-tete? A little passion in your life? Doesn't your heart ever get lonely? Louise, we could get along so nicely, so well. I often told you that if you would be nice to me, all these little miseries would cease. I would close my eyes on these small violations. Come on, beautiful. You have such ravishing skin, just like velvet. Why are you so nervous tonight? Surely it's not me.
Goulin, please.
I know there is a civilian here tonight, Louise. Don't deny it.
Bastard! Is that why you're here, Monsieur Goulin? Trying to find us out? Always spying on us.
Goulin opens the door to room number 3. Louise takes advantage of this to grab the cap of the captain and hang it in room number 1. She hardly has time to pull off the trick when she hears an explosion of curses in German. Goulin is thrown out of the room, vigorously expelled.
Pardon, sir.
Sie verdammte Schweinehund! Machen Sie, dass Sie rauskommen!
Idiot. Why didn't you tell me there was an officer in there with haddock face?
But I did not know, Monsieur Goulin. He paid his check. In room number 2, you will find Sturmführer Kirchner. It might be better not to disturb him. And this leaves us with private room number 1. Would you care to take a look?
I know that a civilian entered the Blue Parrot. Put on the light in the cellar right away.
She obeys. Goulin goes down with a flashlight. A few seconds later, the officer leaves room number 3.
This woman will come to a bad end.
No. Who? Me?
I am psychic. She has blood in her aura.
Enough! You're drunk.
No, I was wrong. It is your aura, Fräulein Louise.
Haddock Face leaves Louise and joins the Countess, Satin Skin, and the Sturmführer in room number 2.
Dada! Come quickly, Dada. Goulin is here. He's looking for you in the cellar. Come quickly and hide in number 3. There's no danger there. Vite, vite! Here he comes! You find anyone, Monsieur Goulin?
Louise, don't blame me for being stupid.
Another drink before leaving?
I am, madame. As true as my name is Goulin, I am going to get you one of these days, and you will die a dog's death in a concentration camp.
Louise,
You scared me.
Louise, I am hungry.
Oh, you idiot. Why didn't you tell me before? What are you hungry for?
You?
Merci, mon cher. The room is safe now.
Next morning, in bed, Louisa's room.
Dada,
What is it?
it's me, darling. Don't be afraid. I just wanted to know your plans.
I will go out and try to dig up some old pals who can help me across the demarcation line. My little Louise, thank you. You are an angel and I love you.
I know.
Was it not moving to find each other again after 5 years?
I believe you found me. Hush! Be quiet.
Is Valentine?
Valentine! We call her Satin Spirit. She's trustworthy. She's all right. Here, get under the sheets.
Am I disturbing you, Louise?
Oh, no. It's a good friend of mine. But not a word about it, huh? You want?
To tell you something. I've been tipped off by the colonel who was here last night. It seems, Louise, that the bombing on London is so terrific that they expect England to surrender within 48 hours. So about a dozen of them will come to have a good time tonight. They want to celebrate. Buckets of champagne will be flowing.
I'm not the owner. Why should I be interested?
Who is sleeping in Louise's bed? Tickle, 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 tickle.
This is no time for joking. You cannot know that he is here.
Or are we playing games here? Doesn't want to ruin his reputation?
Valentine, you must promise that no one can know about him.
Of course, you have my word. Now, please tell me why before I burst with curiosity.
He's a
Hello.
He's a refugee, a good friend. No one must know.
You can count on us, Captain. It is an honor for the Parrot to help you. We might not amount to much according to society people, but one does not have to be born to the velvet to love one's country. Isn't that so, Louise? By the way, beware of Mortadella more than ever. I heard her chatting with Haddockface about you. They were saying you had subversive ideas, that you are a rebel who will get us into trouble with your ideas, ready to denounce you. They want to teach you to respect collaboration like a good citizen.
Thank you, Satan. You are a true friend. I only trust you both.
Weeks later, Marguerite's house, daytime.
Louisa, Monsieur Goulin has written to me about you. It seems you are displaying inadmissible opinions and condemning the government's policies. Well, let me tell you, mon cher, that the Blue Parrot is a cabaret meant for petting and not for plotting. Neither you nor I will change the fate of the Republic. Not the dead and buried, Louise. I intend to have collaboration here, and I want the swastika sort extra dry. Louise, you acted wisely by ceasing to pay Groulin's monthly allowance, and although I should skin you alive for risking my business, I know you are trying to cut costs. Since I haven't any money for publicity, I have Groulin to act as the procurer. Groulin is in contact with loads of officers who do not know what to do with themselves at night. He will receive 10% on the drinks.
Days later, streets of Daytime. Louise strolls from the market with a loaf of bread. As she passes, German officers badger an old man and his wife. Louise skirts by them. A man delivering the mail runs into Louise as she returns home. He gives her a letter. Louise reads it outside the Blue Parrot and promptly tears it up. She enters the cabaret. Later that night, the Blue Parrot hallway.
Viva Sevilla, viva Triana, que está loquito por mí, me dice al oído, Virgencita del alma, sabrá el mar vacío de ti, me lo he creído.
Come on, people.
Mortadella and Haddock-Face lure their fellows into adjacent rooms. Stuffed Pigeon and the German from the previous night depart from the one room that the Germans pay her as he straightens up. In the next room, another young German soldier pushes Flick onto the bed. It says over as soon as it's begun.
My God, the screams, they're just like
what?
I cannot tell you.
Oh, do tell me.
There was this little girl with long braids. We were loading this family into the trucks, and she clutched the smallest little teddy bear to her chest. Because they were not allowed to take anything, I had to tear the bear away from her. She wouldn't let it go. She was so strong, that little one. It's like taking her soul from her. And the screams, I'll never forget.
Same night, in another boudoir. Satin Skin has dressed and her slumbering lover sleeps on the bed. She crosses to his jacket and removes a few yellow papers. She leaves the room. Same night, the office.
Louise. Yes, yes. Satin.
Take them.
Satin, how?
Take them, Louise. They're yours.
Oh.
The papers are all stamped. Only the name of the person has to be added.
Next day, an industrial plant.
Indeed, Monsieur Mayon visited me yesterday.
You say Monsieur Mayon? Isn't he an old friend of yours?
He used to be, madam. Today, our world stands between us. Monsieur Mayon is a dangerous man, a rebel. My position, the circumstances don't permit me to know him anymore. He revealed subversive ideas to me.
To go on fighting against the Germans. Do you call that a crime? To bring honor to the French flag again, is that a shameful gesture?
Oh, no, madame. No tremolos in the orchestra, please. A good citizen does not discuss the government's decisions. Armistice has been signed. What's the use of opening old sores? Madam, I am a family man, not a nihilist. My factory works for the army of la occupation. They make a living that way. I don't see the right to take the bread out of their hands by playing Don Quixote. Besides, the Nazis are protecting us against the communist scum. Thank God, we were the first ones to make the friends with the victors. No.
Outside the plant.
Madam, I would like a word with you, privately. I heard what my boss tell you. He made the same speech to your friend, Monsieur Mayon.
He was here? Do you know where he went?
In such times, real patriots must help each other out. I advise your friend to see the priest at the Saint Bernard Church. He is one of us. Go to him, and you will find out. Your friend is a hero, a real Frenchman. God will be with him.
Later that day at the church.
My child, don't be scared.
Father.
Have you come to confess?
No. I came for help for my friend. Perhaps you know him, Monsieur Melon?
Come, let us go somewhere private. Daniel Mayon came to see me. He was not the first one to do so. A great number of members of the Catholic clergy are doing their best to help the patriots in coming with the fight against the Nazi paganism. I have 4 other men in the same case. 4 escaped prisoners who want to reach the unoccupied zone. Your friend has nothing to fear. He will be on his way this very night.
Thank you, Father.
Child, we are all the same under God. You, moi, everyone. Much will be forgiven you because of your good heart. Oui?
But I'm not a Catholic.
I know, child. We are all the same under the Lord.
All the way to the office that night.
Frederick? Frederick, I'll be right back, I promise. This is important.
What could be more important than you and me?
Oh, baby, 1 second. Get into bed, I'll be right back.
Okay.
In the office.
Louise, Dada arrived.
Dada back here? Oh, Lord, what happened?
He escaped an ambush. He wanted to see you no matter what. He's in the cellar.
In the hallway.
Oh, I thought I told you to get in bed. Oh, this is Frederick. Louise, he's the one I told you about.
Madame.
Oh, nice to meet you.
In the cellar.
Oh, my poor Dada. What bad luck.
Everything was going so well. It is heartbreaking to drown when land is in sight.
I'm so glad you came back. Look, Ausweis 15633K-Roman numeral 2. Your identity picture alone is lacking.
Thank you, my little Louise. I owe you my life.
Oh, Dada, I will miss you with all my heart.
And I you.
Louise, please come upstairs.
Up in the cabaret, the Blue Parrot, same night. 3 officers are there with Grulon. They have already been drinking brandy with Haddock Face, Flick, and Mortadella.
Luis, there you are. These 3 captains are new customer. They are attached to the Armament Commission. They should be well taken care of, Louise, for they will come often. I count on you, my dear.
Very well. Did Monsieur Grulon finish his dinner?
Not yet.
Flick, would you offer him another glass of Benedictine? As soon as I have finished all the necessary arrangements in room 1, I will come talk to you.
Merci.
Into the cellar. Louise runs down the stairs and motions to Dada that the coast is clear. Back up in the cabaret, the Blue Parrot. Dada follows Louise up and starts to cross the cabaret floor. The 3 officers see him, along with Frederick, who sits nearby.
Good evening, mein Herr, isn't it? Life is beautiful.
Good evening, Captain. Long live wine, women, and love.
Why don't you join us? We are going to see a tableau vivant, as they say in French. The more the merrier. Come, see.
The officers have taken Dada's arms, dragging him. Later, In the dressing room,
Don't be surprised if you see a man in civvies with our guests. He is a fellow at the special service of these gentlemen.
What's according to her? She's acting so strange lately.
Maybe she needs some of my little magic.
Does that really work?
Oh, Yachechak, here, give try. Yeah. You'll experience more ecstasy than you ever dreamed possible. It's the only way to deal with these Broderick bastards.
private room number 1. Same. The Countess is being chained to the red bars of the pagoda. The tragedy comedy show is about to begin. Louise enters quietly from the back.
Dada! Herr Inspector, your supper is served.
Mein Herr, stay.
Herr Hauptmann, please excuse the inspector. He will be back at the end of the show.
All right. Have a good time. My motto with women is immer feste Ruf.
Dada goes out. Frederick watches the scene. The Countess, chained to the cardboard bars of the pagoda and suffering fake tortures from Haddock Face, dressed as a Manchurian princess, looks surprised. Now, in the alley,
God knows when I'll see you again. Darling, write to Martha Monseigneur in Marseille. She's a friend. She will find a way to transmit your letters.
I promise, my Louise. You saved my life. I love you.
Go, Dada. Gurlan will see you.
back in the cabaret, the Blue Parrot.
Monsieur Gurlan, I know that you haven't a soft spot for me in your heart, and this is unfair, I assure you. I think you're very nice. And the proof of that, since you explained the political situation to me, well, I've thought it over, and you convinced me.
No fooling.
Believe me, Monsieur Gurlan.
No more fishy goings on? No plots against the safety of the state?
No, Gurlan, I swear.
I am willing to believe you, Louise, but I would rather have proof of your sincerity.
Where is he?
Who, Herr Hauptmann?
The inspector who was with us.
Oh, right here, monsieur.
Shut up, not this man. The nice fellow who was with us.
Herr Hauptmann, versehen Sie. You mentioned that a civilian was with you, but there are no other civilians other than myself. I am the only inspector responsible for the safety of the cabaret. It is therefore impossible that you should have seen someone else.
Impossible? Aber schwingt der Kerl, halten Sie. Get the hell out of here. So,
But Herr Hauptmann, I assure you, I am in charge of the cabaret and all this.
You are not in charge of anything here. We are in charge. When the other one is through, invite him to please take a glass of champagne with us.
The captain returns to his private room.
What does he mean? Who was the civilian mentioned by this brute of a brass hat?
I haven't the slightest idea. I didn't see anybody here except those 3 officers. Didn't you notice how drunk this officer was? It must have been one of his comrades without his blouse. A civilian stripped of his cloth and a soldier without his uniform are much alike.
I shall search the cabaret.
But of course, we demand it. Calvados!
Next day, outside the Blue Parrot.
Come inside, Raoul.
No, I'm suffering from my art.
Louise continues down the street.
January 1st, a bitter, cold one. As I walk by my fellow Jews, wearing those bright yellow stars, my heart sinks. Will I be next? With Grulon breathing down my neck? Oh, thank God I don't practice. Who will crucify me first, the Nazis or God? Usually my little Jacko spends New Year's Day with me. Then I used to forget that there was an outside world full of men, swine of landlords, vultures, and of women and lice. I used to forget everything, dedicating myself to my child. This little bit of a man, born of an unknown father, he became my universe. Where can he be now, my little darling? How can one find among 40 million Frenchmen a sweet child lost in this turmoil? But for a miracle, I shall never see him again. This thought is almost worse than death.
Louise walks down the streets, passing weary people with worn shoes, shivering. They have stood in line in front of food stores, with the doors half open, but not for long. They look suspicious, distrustful. Louise looks at the Arc de Triomphe. Two Nazis are standing in front of her. Two square silhouettes, black as if cast in metal. Later, Louise is having a smoke in the courtyard of number 137 that communicates with 131 through a door which has no lock and is cut into the dividing wall. Suddenly, she sees a shadow pushing his door and placing secretly a small white packet behind the dustbin.
Hey, you there! What are you hiding?
The shadow vanishes. Louise goes closer and discovers a pile of papers, among them Les Populaires. She goes across the courtyard to Madame Fignan's. She knocks at the glass door of the lodge. The light behind the curtain suddenly goes off. She hears muffled voices. Louise knocks again.
Oui? Who is it?
It's Louise.
Oh, mon Dieu. You gave me such a scare, Madame Louise.
Madame, is one of your tenants hiding papers behind the dustbin?
Yeah, one of my friends is using this hiding place until he can start to distribute the papers clandestinely.
I have no objections, but if Madame Marguerite ever knows...
Madame Louise, I know you are one of us. We know what you did for Dada.
Dada?
Come with me. I'd like to introduce you to this group of men, huh?
They invaded Russia.
Do you know what the Fritz Brigade by 1 million frozen feet.
Admit it that it would be quite a joke if capitalist Europe should owe their salvation to the Bolshevik bear.
Madame Louise, I want to introduce you to a hero.
No, madame, no.
Oh yes, I know what I am talking about. Only 6 weeks ago, incarcerated in Stalag 121B, right outside of Nuremberg.
Nice to meet you.
We know how you helped your friend. Louise, have you any more?
I only have a few left, but they are yours if you can help me find my son.
Oh, here, write down his details and we'll do what we can.
Here.
Oh, merci.
Merci.
Inside the blue Parrot, same day.
And where were you?
I was out having a smoke.
No, she was smuggling a civilian out of here.
Look.
That's what running this place will do to you.
Next day, inside the Blue Parrot.
We're not open yet.
You are Louise?
Yes.
I am a friend from next door. May I have a word with you?
What has happened?
This is an address. The hospital. See Victor.
Is that hurt?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Later, at the hospital, same day, Louise stands awkwardly in front of the desk.
Yes, I am here to see, Victor.
What is the patient's last name? Are you Louise?
Yes.
Oh, follow me. He has been asking for you for 2 days now. Here he is. Poor man.
Victor Ruiz. Oh.
Madame Louise. Madame Louise.
Careful, don't rush. Don't rush.
Yes, it's me.
You had promised the kid to bring him a Boy Scout uniform?
Oh, there, Victor. You remember this wish of my little Jaco?
You are the little kid's mother. Good God. Of course you are. Of course. My poor old wife loved him so.
Loved him so? Oh my God, what has happened to my child? Oh.
I don't know.
But he was with you when the Germans marched Paris, wasn't he? Where is he? What happened? Is he dead?
No. It is she who is dead.
Oh my God. Poor Celestine. Dead. How? Where?
There was a hell of a lot of people on the roads. Suddenly, Nazi planes. And then it just started banging from the top of the clouds. My wife got scared by the bullets. She drove the car into the ditch. We all fell out. Bullets pouring on us. I could vaguely hear my poor old Celestine groaning, and then nothing. I don't know anymore. I heard Celestine was dead and the boy wounded, Madame Louise. After that, it is all black. I woke up in the hospital, an asylum for old good-for-nothings like myself. I shall die here.
Back in Louisa's room, late that day.
Come on, get up. She'll be back any minute.
Come back to bed.
Stop it. I mean it. We gotta get out of here.
Why do you want to leave so soon?
Because it's her room. I'm leaving. Slip out the back and I'll see you downstairs.
Okay.
She flits out of the room, leaving Frederick sprawled on the bed. He slowly rolls up and starts to put his shoes on. A glint of yellow paper catches his eye from underneath the mattress. After a quick pause, he grabs the paper. It is Louisa's Ausweis papers. He looks at them in shock and quickly tucks them into his pocket. In the cabaret, the Blue Parrot, the same time.
Louise. I would so much rather be a writer than a piano puncher. Earning his ration bread, pouring languor into the hearts of the Nazi habitués of the Blue Parrots, you know.
Why, Monsieur Cousin?
Why? Because I would write you a poem. How many hearts you've broken with your beauty?
Please, Cousin. I don't need flattery.
No. You need love.
Castanet is late.
Oh, so you came up for air, huh?
Yes.
So you like Germans, eh?
I hate Germans. He's different. He's not one of them.
He was summoned to the police station at 2.
The old witch and Nestor are counting their pennies. We haven't even gotten a raise, and we've more than doubled their business. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted.
They bought their big steaks from the black market while we eat a slice of bread. They certainly can thank God for the Nazis, those two. Our defeat will have fattened them.
Oh, God, here you are at last. I was worried stiff because of you, Ducky.
Tell us what happened.
Well, my little pigeons, what excitement. If somebody had told me that in 1939 that Paris could live under such a regime, I would have laughed in his face. I have been grilled by an officer of the Sûreté. Luckily, the officer was just performing his duty. He was a regular guy. He told me that he was acting on an anonymous denunciation.
What did I tell you? We have to be careful, you see.
It could have only been Mortadella.
Of course it was. I recognized her handwriting on the letter the officer showed me. That bitch denounced me. Me, Captain? Oh, Captain, how could you believe anything like that? Oh, how mean people are, and how can they spread such lies? A little later, he asked me about all of you. He told me that although your records are not satisfactory, I maintain doggedly that all of you are law-abiding citizens. No underhanded practices, no shading tricks. But I am sure he did not fall for it. Finally, he advised me, keep out of trouble and do not play with fire.
I come just in time to be fourth at the belote. What is the matter? I do not see cards on the table. You're not going to tell me you're waiting for me to take your money. If you have something to tell me, just say so.
Damn you!
Ow!
Feel like spitting in your eyes. Damn fascist!
Mortadella, so you are now denouncing your pals? Next time you send a report to the police, I hope you have the courage to sign them.
Report? What are you talking about? Never, it's a lie.
Shut up! The police officer at the Sûreté showed me your letter.
So what? What of it if I fulfill my duty as a citizen? You don't have the right to judge me. You are rebels, anarchists. It's because of your hot heads at your type that we don't get along with the Germans. I will complain to Madame Margarita.
Go ahead and complain to the old girl. Let her fire us. Let the coppers find about us. One night, you will be liquidated in the middle of the night without any witnesses, a knife between the shoulders. We have warned you.
Criminals. I will denounce all of you.
Well, go right ahead, my dear. Denounce us, and you will soon see.
The front door is slowly opened.
May I help you, madame?
Madame Louise here.
I am Madame Louise.
May I talk to you in private?
In the office, minutes later.
Forgive me, but I do not, as a rule, go to places of amusement in Montmartre. So you understand why I feel somewhat lost.
Of course.
May I introduce myself? I am Countess Anne de Givray. May I ask if you work in this cabaret? So I presume that since the armistice, you must have been worried over the fate of your dear little boy who has disappeared?
Dear God, my Jaco?
Yes, your little. I don't want to keep you in the dark any longer. He is alive.
He's alive! Oh, my Jaco! Oh, my God!
I want you to know that your child is alive because it was God's will to save him through me.
Oh, thank you.
Please, don't cry. Since God has kept your child alive, this unfortunate child has recovered from his wounds, but as he has tried,
Oh, God, tell me, where is he?
In Kirby. I brought him with me. Prepared for this great happiness, which will not be, alas, as complete as we wished it. Let me go and get him.
Oh, Jaco. My Jaco. My Jaco.
Mama, is it you?
Oh, my Jaco, you remember? Oh, my darling, what happened to you?
His arm had to be amputated from the shoulder. Gangrene had skin.
Look up, dearest. Look at me, please.
I can't see you anymore, Mama.
He's blind.
Mama, do you still love me, Mama? Oh, please don't cry, Mama.
You are as handsome as you ever were.
Please, don't cry, Mama. Please don't cry. I am so happy to hear your voice. The bush did it, Mama. The bush. Do you think one day I will see again?
Of course, darling. It will come back. Little by little.
Oh, Mama. If only you could come see the lady's chateau. How beautiful it must be. I hear dogs and cows and horses, and I sleep in a big, beautiful bed with a soft blanket.
Oh, my poor darling. My poor darling.
Oh, Mama, where is Mr. Casimir?
He's not here yet. Why do you ask?
Take me to the piano, Mama. I will play you the last he taught me.
Oh.
Tell me, dear, I have been wondering why he hasn't the faintest recollection of a father. He told me that I am the man of the family. I take it that you became a widow when he was very small?
Look around you, madame. Where do you think the father is? I'm sorry. I owe you more than that.
No. It is none of my business.
I know you have a bad opinion of me.
I am not here to judge you. You must be very lonely.
I have Jacques. That is all I need.
What of Jacques? Why don't you come visit where he has been living? I think that you will approve.
Well, I mean, I do have to collect his things.
Will he stay with you then?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, this is my home.
Anne's country house, later that day. Louise and Anne watch Jacques play outside with a dog. Louise packs his things from the closet into his small suitcase.
If Jacques could see this place, it's beautiful.
Thank you, Louise. I am very fortunate.
Past year has been the hardest year of my life. Knowing that part of me, part of my heart was away from me, lost in this god-awful war. He's my world. The only reason I wake up in the morning.
I know.
The only thing I could think of was getting him back under my care, knowing that he was safe, holding him in my arms and kissing him goodnight. But beyond that is his happiness. Do you really love my boy?
Is there a woman who would not love a child that she saved from death under such circumstances?
Then I can always count on you, even if something should happen to me.
What do you mean, Louise?
If Jacques should never see his mother again, you would take care of him.
Louise, of course.
And Anne, promise me one more thing.
Anything?
He must never know what I've done with my life. He must never know. My baby, I'll be back soon, okay? I have to go back to the city.
No. Are you leaving because of the way I look? No, Mama, no.
Jack, no, not at all. You're the most handsome man I've ever seen. Don't ever forget how much I love you.
Louise, may God be with you. We will pray for you, Jacques and I, in the little village church, and light a candle for you.
In the church. But Jacques he doesn't know how to do that.
I have already told him.
The cabaret, the Blue Parrot. Next day.
Madame, you're back.
Louisa, I knew you'd never leave me.
No. I just went to see my son.
Just today I was speaking highly about you to Grula. I told him how sensible you had become and that you had given up all your subversive ideas. I knew all along that one day you would realize that resisting our conquerors was sheer madness. And besides, that was... Hello. I am listening, Grula. What? Oh, bien. Splendid, yes, but of course, mais oui, I will fix private room number 1. Fine. Please stop fly in half an hour. Au revoir. Louisa, this is the greatest moment of my career. You are my right hand. It is not only your right hand, but your duty to be informed that tomorrow the Blue Parrot will receive His Excellency Kurt von Eschendorf, Commanding General of there was something or other, I forget. But it is the first time that such a high-ranking officer visits us. What a marvelous publicity for the cabaret. I do not have to remind you to make yourself beautiful to receive His Excellency with due consideration. My little cabaret, it's good to be back.
Inside one of the boudoirs,
Valentine, what's wrong?
Nothing. I just want to die.
Oh, talk to me, pet. What happened?
Louise, my life should be over. It's not worth it anymore. I live such a wretched life. No one to love me. Nothing I own. How can I walk the streets? How can I continue to breathe? It's just not worth it anymore.
He left you.
Bloody fool. It's all my fault.
Oh, Valentine, how can it be all your fault? Love works both ways.
Oh, Louise, I loved him with all my heart, all my soul. He was my life, and now he is gone forever. Please leave me alone. I want to die.
Oh, please, Valentine. You've been in love before. You will find someone else.
Oh, Louise, it's more than that. I'm pregnant. It's really horrible. I told him, and all he could do was spit at me. He called me things I never thought I'd hear from his lips.
Oh, they don't understand.
He called me a whore, and he said he'd never see me again. And that he couldn't believe he could have a child with me.
Now you can have someone that will love you. It will be yours.
It will only remind me of that swine.
I know.
It's just not worth living.
You are above him. This will pass, dear.
I'm not keeping it, Louise. I can't. I'm not ready. Yeah, I wanted to have a family the right way, with a husband and an apartment and a real job. Not like this. I can't do it.
Don't think about it right now, okay? Just calm down. Come, let's go downstairs and forget about it. Come.
Leave me. Leave me, Louise. Please.
inside the cabaret, the Blue Parrot, later that day.
Where is Madame Marguerite?
Yeah, she is curling her hair with the corkscrew.
Don't try to be funny. Where is she?
Oh, Monsieur Grallion, I tease you only because I love you.
So do I, Monsieur Roulin. The other night, I dreamed of you. You were parachuting with your open umbrella, your little pink behind upside down.
She is waiting for you in her office.
Roulin leaves and enters the office.
The police are here on duty. The swine will be well guarded.
What a sinister idiot. If I were on a desert island with him and a chimpanzee, I would marry the chimpanzee.
Louisa! Come here, mon cher. Come into the office, sir. Sit down, asseyez-vous. Louisa, I want you to be a witness to my discussions with Brahm. After all, you are my right hand, as I always say, and everything connected with the management of my establishment concerns you too. Brahm, Last time you came to see me, I believe you mentioned some accounts we had to settle. What exactly do you mean?
My friend, I'm going to tell you. I don't mean to hurry you, but you're late, you know.
Late?
You know very well what I mean.
Late in this business refers to something altogether different.
No, please. You know, your little account?
Monsieur Goulin, you must be more specific.
Madame Marguerite, you are aware of the time passing. It is the 12th already. Time seems to fly.
So what?
That simply means that you are 12 days late.
Late for what?
Oh, come on. There is no need for diplomacy between us. This is the payoff.
I know, but I don't try to be diplomatic with you, my dear Roland. And since you decided to bring up this vulgar question of money, let's settle matters once and for all. I am neither 1, nor 2, nor 12 days late, because from now on there will be no accounts to settle between us.
I beg your pardon. Did I hear you correctly?
Oh, I spoke very clearly, and you usually understand the most subtle hints. Our accounts are a thing of the past, mon ami.
If this is a joke, it is a good one.
It is not a joke, Roland.
So, you've decided to break our agreement? Just like that? You have very definite obligations towards me for the extraordinary services I have rendered. And may I know why?
For a long, long time, you have been enjoying 10% commission on the liquor, and you cut a good slice of my income every month under the pretense of bringing me customers.
Under what? Under what? Do you dare deny that I put the blue Parrot on its feet again?
For a little while, you did give us a certain amount of publicity among the gentlemen of the Army of Occupation.
How dare you? Not long ago, you begged me to save you from bankruptcy. You almost threw yourself at my feet. You almost licked my boots.
Oh la la!
Because you had your back against the wall. It was I, your one dear friend Roulon, who saved your cabaret. I brought you the gentlemen of the general staff, who would never have come to your dirty joint in this wretched dark street.
This dirty little joint, as you call it, will be honored tomorrow by the visit of a general whose army made Europe tremble.
You suffer from delusions of grandeur. In the meantime, I advise you to expect our agreement. If not, as sure as I am facing you, I will have your joint closed down.
And by whom, may I ask?
By whom? By the police, of course. Laughing won't help you.
Oh, mon cher ami Roland, you are forgetting one detail. I am under the authority of the Gestapo. The German Gestapo does not give a damn to your little French police. Are you forgetting, little mosquito, that the Nazis are in command here? And all you can do is obey. Obey and grovel before them. Jump if they wish it. Dance when they whistle. Just try to close my blue Parrot, and the next day I will have it reopened by my friends from the Gestapo.
You are such a money grumber that paying a loyal collaborator who saved you from ruin gives you a bellyache? Without me, you old mold, you would never have survived one day under the occupation.
To talk to me in that tone.
Without me, you would not have a single diamond on your hide, not one pearl on your neck. All this tinware you have, gone, there and there. Like an old peacock, you preen thanks to my good services. You would have had to walk the bull moose to buy steaks for your dirty pimp of a husband.
Girl, rage is leading you astray. I will certainly not be terrorized by a tiny little employee of your kind, by an obscure underling of the secret police. One more insult, and I will denounce you to the gentlemen of the Gestapo. Charged, put behind bars in Germany. The Gestapo will teach you, little Monsieur Goulin, how to behave with ladies. I wanted to inform you of my decision in front of Louisa to avoid any misunderstanding. You will go and eat cabbage and beets in a Prussian concentration camp. Yes. Well, go outside and watch for the security of my customers. That's all you are good for.
Très bien.
You see, my dear Louise, it was as easy as that. I decided to do it a long time ago. But you know how good-hearted I am. But then he made enough money on my back. I was right, wasn't I, Louise?
Of course, Madame Marguerite.
In the cabaret, the Blue Parrot, night. Flowers are being put on all the tables. Marguerite is hanging a picture of the Fuhrer above the piano. Louise straightens up.
I must say, Louise, it is getting late.
It is the hairdresser's fault, Madame Marguerite. Besides, I wanted to look worthy of your important guest.
Waltz of the Merry Widow when he enters. Casimir, it is his favorite.
Oui, madame.
In dressing room, night.
Mes enfants, I can now give you the big news. The Blue Parrot will be honored tonight by the presence of His Excellency General von Eschendorf.
Do I have to teach him the begin?
After finishing my monologue, I will jump on his knees and call him mein Vater.
Is it true, madame, that you will soon get the Iron Cross?
Maman. All I am asking is to be a success tonight when dancing in front of His Excellency. Comprendre?
Now in the cabaret.
Bonne nuit, Grelin.
Owing to the importance of the guests whose visit I announced, I have received an order to watch more closely than ever. In order to make this watch as discreet as possible, I will stand behind the bar.
Grelin, I am as anxious as yourself to make sure of His Excellency's safety between my walls. You have a free hand. Would you like to stand behind the bar like a barman?
No. I'll go into the office then, and through the half-open door, I will be able to see what's going on in this room.
As you wish, Grelin.
Suddenly, the door opens. They both react. It is 3 officers. The Countess goes over to keep them company.
Would you like some brandy?
No.
Oh, dear little Grelin, looking so sulky. Oh, that's not nice.
I warn you to lay off me, if not.
These puppy dogs at the Sûreté have decidedly no sense of humor. Pauvre petit Grelin.
Before Brulon pounces, the door swings open again. The officers come in. The general, escorted by the colonel and a major. The other officers in the cabaret stand to salute.
At ease, gentlemen. It is this paradise of Mahomet that you come to from your laurels won on battlefield?
Yes, Excellency.
Excellency, I am honored by your visit.
Marquis, my compliment.
Excellency, this woman is the owner of the Blue Parrot.
Did you say the owner? My respect, Princess.
Excellency, I don't know how to thank you. You and these gentlemen are most welcome. I am completely overwhelmed.
So this is the Blue Parrot I've heard so much about.
Oui, Excellency, so to speak, the private club of officers here we are among ourselves.
Without a swide of civilians? I was expecting something better.
This is not the Folie Rochelle, alas, but the quality, Excellency, you will see. I have arranged for a private room where you will be more at ease.
No, no, no. No private room for me.
He is pacing up and down, examining the murals, examining the young officers who do not dare to enjoy themselves anymore, flashing a glance at the women.
Go ahead, gentlemen. Go ahead. Have a good time. At your age, you should. I will spend a few minutes here in the company of this old tart.
Marguerite takes the colonel and the major into private room number 1 and summons Mortadella and Satin to keep them company. Then she invites the general to sit at a table exactly left of the cash register.
My good lady, do me a favor. Tell your idiot pianist to stop harping on the same music forever and ever. It makes me feel like throwing up. My God! It's not worthwhile occupying Paris if it means listening to Viennese music!
Stop it!
The young officers, embarrassed by the general's presence, click their heels and leave.
Louisa, since he does not want to go into the small room, tell Castanet to start a Spanish dancer. Haddock will do a monologue afterwards.
You have a beautiful wig, madame.
But Excellency, it is my honor.
You really mean that this curly chicory is all yours?
Oh, well, of course, but they're just a slight little bit of, you know, a little bleach and
This has been your profession for a long time?
Oh, no. Before I was in the theater, an actress, Excellency.
Actress? That's why you're putting on such a good act. I mean, the comedy of smiling at those who have beaten you. For I imagine that your kind of reception is as forced as your hair, your teeth, and your eyelashes.
Oh, Excellency, how can you think of such a thing? I assure you that this is not the
Well, madame, let me tell you this as the commander. I'm delighted for my officers that there are French women like you, happy to receive them. But if the French had beaten and invaded my country, and if one of our German women had been as pleased to receive them as you are, I would crack a whip in her face, because females who betray their country deserve only contempt. Naturally, you must make a lot of money serving your liquor and the smiles of those ladies to our officers. Pays well, doesn't it?
Oh, mon Dieu! I just obey orders, General. Our prices have been approved by the Commandant.
Of course. Patriotism needs its prostitutes too.
Yeah, it is the Queen of Castanets I was telling you about. She was a star in Barcelona.
Brava! Brava! Are you really French?
Oui, but of course, our Excellency.
Once upon a time, they had Joan of Arc. Now they have you. You can't expect too much.
Excellency, How would you like to chat with the dancer? Come in, shoo. Come here and have a drink with His Excellency. General, allow me to introduce to you Mademoiselle Carmen, a star who dances traverse bolero in true Spanish style.
Scusi, Madame Marguerite. These gentlemen would like some gypsy music.
Casimir, go and play the violin for those gentlemen in number 1.
I will not. My violin is only for special occasions.
I would say this is one.
C'est bien, madame.
Excuse me, General. I want to see if your offices are well taken care of.
Go and pour some more liquor for some lady. Were you for Franco?
Are you for Stalin?
At least you're not pretending to like us.
No.
You are just putting up with us because we are stronger.
Yes.
Unfortunately for you, you will have to put up with us for a long time. Europe's fate is settled for 1,000 years.
Baloney.
What?
This is the technical term meaning this will happen when cold fish lay devil eggs in puppies.
You mean you have doubts about what I just said?
You said it, bastard.
You have conquered Europe. Isn't that enough for you?
You've already started throwing up what you swallowed in Africa.
Ah! Shut up! I don't feel like discussing politics with a cabaret frog. Get away from me before I have you shot.
Con mucho gusto.
Who is she?
Madame Louise, the cashier.
She does not dance?
No, she manages the place when the bosses are absent.
Does she dislike us too?
Why don't you ask her?
Spanish Beach. It's not much fun to take money all night. Is this old harlot of a boss hard on you? What is your name?
Louise, General.
You're rather good looking. How is it that you're not behind the cash register instead of dancing with the customers?
I am a settled bourgeoisie and a mother.
So, you hate us too?
No, I am trying to understand you.
Oh, that's better. I like this answer. You represent something which is highly valuable.
What is that, Excellency?
Reason. French logic. And since when have you been trying to understand us?
Since you paraded on the Champs-Élysées, for if we would have understood you in time, we would have been spared the show. I hope you don't mind me being so frank.
Not at all. Would you like to have a drink with me? In private?
Inside room, boudoir, night. General and Louise sit on the couch. He leans closer to her.
Have you at last succeeded in understanding us?
Yes. As a good French citizen, I feel like strangling you. But as a woman, I have a secret admiration for strength. Women always admire power.
Well spoken, Louise. Are you impressed by my country's strength?
No, by yours. When I saw you come in, I recognized the true leader of men, Excellency.
Ah, Germany and France should have been allies. Together we would have enslaved the whole world.
France included.
Have you ever seen an alliance where one nation does not lead the others? Your country would have gained so much by becoming our brilliant assistant.
Like a wife whose husband beats her up every day?
Women love it.
Not I, Excellency.
Come now. I once had a Russian mistress in Dresden who was always full of the blues. She did not need mascara around her eyes. I provided her black circles. She loved it. It made her happy, and it did not cost me anything.
I am not a slave. With me, it is principle the man has to suffer.
Ah, Louise, you are terrible. But I like you.
He pulls her violently to him, starts grinding her shoulders with his fingers, and plants a wet kiss, which is more biting than kissing.
Oh, you are very gallant, Excellency.
Ah, Louise, you are so rebelling. I like that. I knew we were meant to understand each other.
Well, Excellency, won't you raise your glass to our future collaboration?
Of course, Louise. And to your beautiful eyes. I like so much. No family?
Yes, a little 9-year-old boy.
I have 2 sons, a captain in the Air Force and a major in motorized.
Well, between the 3 of you, you must have killed plenty of French people.
Frenchmen, Poles, Dutch, Belgians, Britishers. That's war.
In a word, you kill all those who resist.
Just as I beat up all the women who refuse me. They should recognize superiority.
Superman, huh? How does it feel to be Superman?
As individuals, we feel like anybody else. Superiority manifests itself in the power of the Gestalt.
Then a Superman in bed sleeps like everybody else?
Louise, you have funny ideas.
No, but when somebody calls himself a Superman and wants the whole world to believe him, he should prove it. This is my firm belief. You, after having massacred human beings by the thousands, you tell yourself, I did not waste my day. Did it ever occur to you that one day you might have to face the father, the mother, the brother, the sister of one of your victims?
Louise, pity is to the conqueror like rheumatism is to a racer. The foundations of new empires are cemented in blood. More champagne?
With pleasure, Excellency. I bet many women have loved you. Did they all appreciate the little souvenirs you left behind?
She turns her back to him and pours a drink.
What do you mean?
I mean black eyes, bruises. Before the war, I had a friend who used to say, he who gives his heart to woman will perish by woman.
Ah, such a beautiful end for Don Juan. If I'm not killed on the battlefield, I would like to die that way.
What if you were to fall in love with a French woman who made you pay a price for all the wrongs you have done to her compatriots?
That only happens in the movies, my dear Louise.
Excellency, would you rather have her kill you first or be serviced by her first?
Love first.
What kind of death would you like with your beloved?
Louise, I've been told that the Blue Parrot is a highly entertaining place. May I remind you, like the famous comical heroes, that the only topic tonight seems to be my death.
Then let's drink to life.
That's right. Let's drink. Did you put the light out? I don't seem to see the murals so clearly anymore.
But you see me, General, don't you? What's the matter?
I cannot be drunk. After all, I only had... The violinist has stopped playing next door.
I can distinctly hear Monsieur Casimir playing the Clair de Lune.
Louise, why don't you tell me a Parisian story, a spicy one? The private room is the perfect setting for well-seasoned jokes. Come on.
Do you know the one about the undertaker and the nun? Once upon a time, there was an undertaker as small as Tom Thumb and a nun as tall as a giraffe. One day, it was pouring.
Louise! Louise! Stick this fork into my leg!
I would never do that, General.
Do as I tell you! Stronger! Stronger! Ah! I don't feel anything. My muscles don't work. I don't understand what has caused this indisposition. Give me a glass of water. I'm thirsty. What is the loss? What have you done?
What have I done? Fulfilled your wishes. You wanted an end worthy of Don Juan at night in Paris. Your dream is coming true.
Ah, you wretched woman. You will die!
No, you will die. The day will come when all the French people you have tortured, the old ones, the young, the women, the children, will poison you like the plague-carrying rat that you are. They will make you expiate for the death of our hostages, slaughtered like cattle, of our patriots so tortured in the cells of your infamous Gestapo. They will make you pay. My poor country will breathe at last. The stench of your filthy SS will disappear. But listen to me. Oh, why don't you look at me? Let me spit in your face once more. Vous êtes mort. Dead.
Are you there, Louise?
She quickly sits down on the man's knees, straightening his torso painfully. She puts his left arm around her shoulder and hugs him with her right arm.
Leave us alone, Monsieur Grelin. You can see that Excellency and I are busy.
Oh, I am sorry. Excuse me, Excellency.
Louise throws the general onto the rug with some difficulty and succeeds in pushing him under the couch. The couch just about hides his entire body. She drinks one large glass of champagne and goes out into the cabaret.
Business is booming. His Excellency is thirsty. I need another bottle.
Do everything you can, Louise.
She slips into the yard, crosses the corridor of the adjoining building, and asks the concierge to open the door. She emerges in the Rue Lepic via number 131. The night is dark. She goes in the direction of Neuilly. She is holding in her hand the key to a room given to her by a comrade of the underground. Mortadella enters the boudoir. She sees the dead man.
What was wrong with him? Oh, must be too much alcohol.
Excellency, don't you want to come into our room? Oh dear, he's dead!
Oh, no, c'est impossible! He cannot be dead, not in a cabaret.
Go to the police, go to somebody! Go to them!
The street begins to swarm with SS officers. Later, back in the cabaret. Still no sign of her.
Search the immediate area. She must be around here somewhere. Marguerite, you are next.
Monsieur Goulard? Monsieur Goulard, please explain that. I
Clever? Shut up. When did you first find out that His Excellency would come to visit your dirty joint?
Yesterday?
Did your women in the cabaret know about it?
Oh no. No, I tell Monsieur Goulard, you asked me not to tell anything to anyone.
What is that to prove that you obeyed me?
Your duty was to watch over his safety.
But Captain, it was Louisa, my cashier, who had the last drink with His Excellency. It was not I.
If it should be proven that His Excellency was killed in your place, then it will look very dark for you.
Oh, God. Oh, good God. But this is not possible, Captain. You know the Blue Parrot's reputation. All my entertainers have always behaved well with your officers. Nothing ever happened, which was I who did everything in my power, so that the German officers could spend a few pleasant hours here.
Until one of our generals was killed under your very nose. You vile witch. We will skin you alive if we ever find out. What? So you have the chemist's report. Traces of poison. His Excellency was murdered then. Very well. I know what I have to do. Until we find your cashier, the Frau will remain under arrest and at the disposal of the court martial. I arrest you as an accomplice. And if we don't find the cashier, you will pay for her.
Oh, Monsieur Goulard, wasn't I always a good collaborationist? Tell me, Captain, I devoted myself since the first day to the services of the German officers. I beg you, tell him.
This Frau Louise has to be found. But if she should not be found in 4 days, this crazy hag will be executed to set an example.
Oh, no, I am innocent. It was Louisa.
Go.
The SS dragged Marguerite out of the office and passed the women in the cabaret. Next day, inside the cabaret,
You told me you would get me one day. You win.
Sit down.
I killed the general last night.
If you were in their hands now, they would torture you.
Go ahead. What are you waiting for?
I am not from the Gestapo. Right now, I am not a police officer questioning you. I am talking to you as a private citizen. Why did you kill the German?
To take revenge. I chose a general to inflict a harder blow. I recently found my son again. He lost one arm and is blind. Do you hear me?
Why have you come back?
Why? Because I understood that my action might have terrible consequences for some of my colleagues here. I don't want them to pay for me. I don't want innocent people to die for me.
Louise, you gave your proof of unnecessary courage by rushing in. Useless, because your colleagues as well as the pianist have been exonerated. On the other hand, your setting foot in the trap voluntarily was a stupid gesture, because I shall be compelled to arrest you. And these, well, they seal your fate. But Louise, I have always admired you. Your strength, your fortitude, your beauty, and lastly, your courage. Something I have been missing my entire life. Oh, I was mad at you for a long time. Our enmity is a tradition of the Le Pen. I will miss that. Come, follow me to room 2. Climb out the window. I will hum the Marseillaise if there is any danger. Disappear to North Africa.
Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. I am not doing this for you, but for my own person. Go! Hello, comrade. This woman, the suspect, diese Frau. Zeig mir sehr werthaltig. Verhalten Sie?
Louise escapes out the window. Rick's Cafe, American, Casablanca. 2 months later.
Here I am. I am here. Not for long. Where are they all? My friends of the underground, my pals from the cabaret, my enemies of yesterday.
Louisa, philosophy is a wheelless cart whose speed is 0 miles per hour and before leaving.
Suddenly fate decides that we should not meet again. Life is but a series of little deaths. Friends, men and women appear, go by, and disappear, like pilgrims in a desert hidden by a whirling sandstorm at the horizon. Time, this indifferent hangman who rings the necks of friendships we believed eternal, leaves us with memories, a heap of cinder. Sometimes it is good to roll in it. Look at that mother swinging her child in her arms. The world will feel its hopes reviving.
You will appear one day in my old courtyard, where I will lead by the hand your waiting child, who will throw himself into your arms, and he will be yours once more.
But should I die? The other Jewish ghosts who drift along, haunting Europe's capitals in the night. Sad phantoms, shades dragging their tortured history with them around deserted squares. We will stop for a moment only when they meet the shadow of this newcomer, and they will whisper, "It is the soul of Louise."
Ah, hello.